Hi, I'm Keith Cotter and welcome to the HSB Academy tutorial session. In this session today we're going to look at what's new in hsbDesign v24. We're going to take a deep dive into some topics that are playing very much a leading role today in offsite construction. And the first of these is an area that's very intricate to digital twin and BIM. And that is the whole interchange between different third-party software, and that is with IFC. We're going to take a look at some of the real improvements that we've made to IFC using hsbDesign. Then we're going to take a little look at some of the enhancements in our Painter, which is our tool for classifying entities in the hsbDesign model. And then we're going to take a look in the wall detail builder, and this is our way of detailing our wall elements so that we can have the specific detailing at the connection and all around the wall and opening. And there's some quite improvements in that whole area as well. And finally we're going to finish off the session with looking at some of the core hsbDesign tools that are there that are slightly improved, but also gave quite a powerful enhancement to the way of working today. So let's jump in and let's take a look immediately at what is possible today with your new hsbDesign v24. First, we should probably announce that we have revised our complete branding of hsbCAD. As you can see behind me here is a completely new look website of hsbCAD, and you can see that we have particularly rebranded ourselves so that we are focusing on solutions for design. And you can see in our design solutions we have very much focused now on Revit, and we've also remained focused very much on AutoCAD as also a solution for design. So offering really to you a very rich set of tool sets that will meet different disciplines of construction in your design process. Moving on down, we're moving into the next solution area, which is manufacturing, and here we introduce our Make platform and how this can help with the process control in the factory, and also some hybrid manufacturing tool set that will allow you to even further enhance your CNC data as you create it from the design model. And then we move into our assembly solution, and here you're met with hsb Share and also some tool sets, and our latest tool set here, which is hsb Stacking, which allows you to do truck loading and stacking of your elements on a truck. And I'd invite you to take a good look at the website and take a good browse through the different topics. There is also some very useful white papers that you can also download here. As you can see in here, client cases and white papers, and information that might be of interest to you and give you some further insights into offsite construction. Furthermore, what we also have, as always, is our academy, and here you get a complete help file and knowledge base on how to use all the aspects that I'm going to show you today in terms of hsbDesign v24. And if you want to take a further look at some of these topics, I'm going to be focusing very much on the new features today, and in these I'm going to be really focusing in on this particular set of features outlined in version 24 hsbDesign. So I would probably suggest you should have a good read of this to understand what is in v24. So the first topic that we're going to take a look at today is IFC. So here we are, hsbDesign v24. First piece of information I should give you is it currently is running on AutoCAD 2022, the latest version of AutoCAD. On the subject of IFC, the first big important news that we should give you is we are completely supporting now IFC version 4. And I do that by running the export on this particular model. This model is nothing more than a whole load of CLT panels, walls, floors and roofs. And here you can see I already have an export called IFC, and I'm going to click into that and go to settings, and scrolling down in the settings you can now see that I can create either a 2x3 IFC version, or I can create an IFC 4 version, which I'm now going to do. That's okay, and I'm going to run this, and you can see that it creates the IFC. The first thing we're going to do is go to the location where it's stored, and using something like Notepad++, I'm going to verify that the schema is in fact IFC 4. I'm going to open that. I'm using BIM Vision here, free viewer, in order to view it, and you can now see it opens it up as an IFC schema IFC 4, showing you that it's an IFC 4 model. Okay, let's close this down once more, and I'm going to revert it back, and it's just as easy. If you want to put it back to a 2.3, all you have to do is pick this and back to a 2.3, and you can see it's very versatile how I can switch between each, and go once more to the location and open up the IFC, and we're now opening up an earlier version of the model in this case, and you can see here the schema model is 2.3. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is an interesting topic, and that is, we know in hsbDesign we work a lot with TSLs, tool script language, and in this example here I have a TSL that is showing an Electra, and this Electra has a whole lot of properties, and in these properties here you can see that they have one for quantity, for diameter, etc. But I can take all these properties and export them also to IFC. You can see this here quite visibly. If I go to this particular wall and select that, you can now see that they are now included up here, so that when I pick the Electra and scroll down, you can now see I have all the properties that are in the TSL also stored in the IFC file in this case. So let's head back to the AutoCAD session again. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is uploading IFC files to our hsbShare environment, because this will allow you to have portability and selection set import in AutoCAD and hsbDesign and make it much easier. So we use hsbShare, the console here, and you can activate that in that some of the ribbons have hsbShare included here, but you can also type hsbShare on the command line, and that will also activate the console that we have here. So if you have a IFC file that has been given to you by a third-party vendor, the way we approach it is we would create a brand new project. So I'm just going to call this a tutorial session, and I will dedicate my team. So let's call it the Dream Team, and I'm going to create a project. And instead of selecting from a drawing, we now have an option to go from file, and here what we can do is we can select the IFC file that would have been given to you by a third party and open that and add the file. And essentially what this now does is it uploads it to hsbShare. So in hsbshare.com, if you don't have an account, you should set yourself up. It's currently free to do so, and currently I'm going to come up here and go tutorial session, and you now see it loads the model of the IFC, in this case, into HSB Share. Furthermore, what you can also do, for example, if I bring a other model up here, so I'm now just loading a different model, we can also load an IFC file into an existing project. So you can see here I've loaded up this project, and up here under models and revisions I have the option to add model, and here I'm now going to add in the same IFC you just saw a few minutes ago. Say open, I can give it a name and a version, and I can save it, and it goes through the process. You can continue working away in your PC, and eventually it will load the IFC in with this particular model. Of course, this here doesn't make any sense how it looks right now, but it just gives you an indication that I now have currently 2 IFCs in here, and I can visualize and turn on and off different aspects within that particular model as well. Next, I want to talk about a really big topic that is going to really help you in V24, and that's me returning back to the AutoCAD session, and we're going to talk now about GUIDs. And this is becoming a really important topic in the whole world of BIM and digital twin. And at the moment, what we now have is the ability to go to settings, and you can see when I open my settings screen, we now have an AutoCAD drawing GUID here. And yeah, it's a range of numbers, but critically important, because if I now close this and I select this particular entity and zoom down to the bottom, you can now see that I have here a whole load of numbers. But if we closely look at, and I keep this alive here, and I go to settings, and we now bring this settings box to here, you will begin to see that the first few digits here are exactly the same as the digits here, and the remainder numbers after this are essentially the offset ID handle for that particular entity. So you can see the last few numbers here are 45A8, whereas if we select this, you can now see that the last few digits here are different. So this unique ID is an offset from the main GUID of the drawing. So essentially, what does this mean? We have what's called persistent GUIDs, and this is very, very important in terms of portability exchange between different third-party software. We maintain the GUID as we go forward. I guess to put that a little bit more into practice, if I go to the share environment once more and maybe take a look at an earlier IFC that I might have had, maybe take a look at this one, not a good example. Let's go to a slightly better one, and we go to one from Vectorworks. So this is clearly a third-party IFC that was created in Vectorworks, and let's take a look in here, and we can see that it currently has some properties, and you can see here we have this particular property as we have. So just for pure bigness of all of this, what we have is we're going to keep a number, a memory on JFKC, because it's going to be quite important that we're going to see this coming through and the first part of the IFC. And what I want to show you is the persistence happening now. So I'm going to close this, and I also want to draw, probably slightly divert your attention and show you that you can also create selection sets now with IFC. And what does that actually mean? So if I open up this model viewer, and let's say I'm going to pick all of these, turn all of these off, turn on this beam, I could just create an IFC export of just that particular beam. So I could add an import selection set, and here you could see that I could say beams, and I can match that IFC entity and say create it as a particular type of entity in hsbCAD. So remember, this is an IFC file from Vectorworks, so it could be any type of entity, but I'm forcing it to become a certain type of entity in hsbCAD, whether it's a beam, a sheet, a CLT, or a wall. So I can convert an IFC, and by saving that, what I now get is multiple selection sets, and we're going to see this in play now in a few seconds here. So let's head back to our AutoCAD session, and what I now want to do is create a new drawing, and in this new drawing I'm going to import that particular IFC file. So this is the Vectorworks file that I want to import, and now what I'm showing you here are all the different versions that we have here. And remember, I created a selection set called beams. Well, now here you can see it is here as a selection, but I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to, or maybe I do, maybe I just bring in that particular one. I'm going to say beam, I have a model translation, I say okay, and you can now see that it just brings in that as a selection on its own. Or I could say I want to bring in all, and it now brings in all of these beams here. But the thing I want to draw your attention to is if I select that particular beam and scroll down, you can now see that I have here a JJKC, which is what I asked you to remember earlier on in the IFC. So what it has done a persistent relation between the IFC and this particular file that gets imported, i.e. you've got your persistent GUID. And probably one of the last things I want to show you regarding IFC is, once more we go back here to the settings, and that is we can now select how a certain entity is going to display in IFC. What do I mean by that? Well, if you had a certain, let's say if I go to element wall SIP, and that would be for CLT panel, I can tell that what type of object it needs to be in IFC. So if you wanted, for example, you could have a beam and you could tell it to become an IFC wall or a door or whatever. So you can really force the type of object that this particular entity is going to be. So in your case, in the background here, you can really force that object to become currently it's going to be an IFC door, but you could also force it to be something else of another type in this case. So that covers our subject on IFC. We're now going to move on and take a look at the next subject. So we're going to take a look at the wall detail builder. So you should follow me into the next tutorial session. So I'm Keith Cotter. Thanks for watching this. Hope to see you in the next session.